Hi, and welcome to Cenario, your partner in mental wellness. Here on our channel, we share educational, insightful, and science-backed content to help you understand your mental health and take meaningful steps toward a more balanced life. If you're ready to learn, grow, and take control of your wellness journey, let's jump right in.
So today, we're going to talk about a feeling that can be really hard to put into words, but so many of us know it deep down: emotional emptiness. It's that quiet, hollow feeling that something's missing, even when from the outside your life looks totally fine. So let's dive into what it is, where it might be coming from, and maybe what it's trying to tell us. Yeah, this quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's not about just having a bad day. It's this persistent feeling underneath everything, a hollow space that's there even when your calendar is full. And this is the central question, right? The one so many of us ask ourselves. So throughout this explainer, we're going to dig into that, exploring where this feeling comes from and what it could possibly mean. Okay, so first things first, let's try to get a clearer picture of what this feeling actually is. What does it really mean to feel this quiet, heavy sense of emptiness? It often shows up as a kind of numbness or this feeling of being disconnected from people, from activities you used to love. And here's the really tricky part. It can happen even when everything on the surface looks great. You might have a great job, amazing friends, all the achievements, but you still feel vacant inside. And this right here, this is a really crucial shift in perspective. Feeling empty does not mean you failed. It is not a character flaw. Instead, try thinking of it like a signal, like a message from your mind and body that's pointing towards some emotional needs that just aren't being met. So, if emptiness is a signal, what's it pointing to? Now that we have a better idea of the feeling itself, let's explore some of the hidden causes that can be behind it. So, one really significant cause can be unresolved trauma. When the brain goes through something that's just too overwhelming, it can sometimes protect itself by, turning down the volume on all emotions. It's a protective shutdown that can show up years later as this persistent numbness, this sense that life feels distant or not quite real. Then there's burnout. When we are under chronic stress for way too long, our emotional reserves just get completely drained. That drive, that joy you used to have, it gets replaced by this deep exhaustion and a feeling of, I just don't care anymore. It's a slow drain that can leave you feeling totally hollowed out. Emptiness can also come from loneliness, but, and this is important, it's not about how many friends you have. It's about the quality of your connections. You can literally be in a room full of people and still feel profoundly empty if you don't feel truly seen, understood, and connected. And of course, we can't forget our physical health, right? Our emotional well-being is so deeply tied to our bodies. Things like not getting enough sleep night after night, poor nutrition, or substance use can directly mess with our brain's chemistry and basically blunt our ability to feel a full range of emotions. So this table here does a really nice job of summing it all up. As you can see, whether it's that protective shutdown from trauma, the total energy drain of burnout, or that connection gap from loneliness, each one of these things has a pretty distinct process that leads to that same common feeling of emptiness. Okay, but what happens when this feeling just sticks around? How do you know if it's just a temporary slump or if it's something more persistent that you really need to pay attention to? You see, when emptiness is part of a bigger depressive pattern, it almost never comes by itself. It's usually part of a whole cluster of symptoms, like the ones you see here: that persistent numbness, losing interest in things you used to love, pulling away from people, and just feeling hopeless. The key here is the pattern, when several of these signs hang around for a while. So here's the main difference we need to talk about: temporary versus persistent emptiness. A temporary feeling usually has a clear cause, like a breakup or losing a job, and it tends to get better over time. But emptiness that lasts for weeks or months, that just seems to get deeper and really starts interfering with your life, that points to a more clinical pattern that might need some support. All right, so we've talked about what this feeling is and where it might be coming from. Now let's get to the most important part: the path forward. What can we actually do to start feeling more connected and present in our own lives again? For a lot of people, therapy is a really powerful way to get to the root of the issue. It gives you a space to uncover the why behind the emptiness. So let's take a look at a few proven approaches that can be especially helpful. So first, there's cognitive behavioral therapy. or CBT. This is a super practical approach. It's all about untangling the unhelpful thought patterns that keep you feeling stuck and then actively rebuilding behaviors that bring a sense of purpose and, reward back into your daily life. Now, if you suspect that this emptiness might be linked to past trauma, EMDR can be incredibly effective. It's a specialized therapy designed to help your brain process those overwhelming experiences that might have caused that emotional shutdown in the first place. And what about that really deep, chronic emptiness, the kind that feels like it's been there forever? Well, for that, therapies like schema therapy or interpersonal therapy can be really effective. They focus on understanding those deeper relational patterns to help restore that sense of emotional connection. Now, along with getting professional support, there are some really foundational things you can do in your daily life to help restore your emotional energy. Things like prioritizing sleep, focusing on nutrition, adding in some gentle movement, and being mindful of substance use. These 4 pillars, they build a much stronger base for your emotional well-being. I know, this can feel like a lot. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, where do you even start? Well, you don't have to do everything at once. Here are just a few small, practical experiments you can try right now. Maybe track your mood for a week just to notice patterns, or schedule just one small, enjoyable activity each day. These little steps are all about building momentum. And really, that brings us right back to where we started. Instead of seeing emptiness as this big problem that we have to fix, what if we see it as a question? What is this feeling signaling? It might just be an invitation to listen a little more closely to what you truly need, whether that's rest, connection, safety, or meaning.
Thank you for watching Cenario. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. For personalized mental wellness supplements, visit Cenario.com. See you in the next one.